Bang Dream's 10th anniversary premium booster is finally out in the English format. As with all premium boosters, the card pool is pretty limited, as every Bang Dream character got a single card, but they have some interesting effects to play with. Since this is the anniversary set, the anniversary trades makes a return. So for those who don't know and are interested in building new decks, the cards of anniversary sets come with the anniversary trait, and their effects work almost exclusively with other anniversary cards or cards with their band trait. So you can mix and match anniversary cards as much as you want, and will need to be mindful of this limitation while mixing non-anniversary cards in your deck. While the stronger anniversary decks will use multiple bands and keep the deck mostly anniversary exclusive for consistency, on this video I want to focus on the band themed decks. So I will show you new decks for each of the 9 viable bands using the new set as a base, while also reviewing the new cards they got. This can help as a skeleton for you to personalize as you wish with the huge card pool Bang Dream has. There are only 3 rules for these decks. 1. Only use cards that are related to each band. 2. Include all the new cards from the 10th anniversary set. And of course, only cards that exist in the English version. Be ready if we end up getting these promos. So without further ado, let's see some decks. Poppin' Party has had a very rough identity crisis for a long time, but for the current anniversary version we have this Door Pants deck. It aims to snowball advantage through stock and hand using the anniversary tie combo that can add and stock level 1 or higher cards when she reverses the opponent, and the brand new addition of Good Morning... I can do and the brand new addition of Good Morning Kasumi. He sits at a comfortable 10,000 power and allows you to salvage a character and stock another from Waiting Room. To help this strategy, we have To the Dressing Room Arisa, who serves as a level 0 beater, and once she hits the Waiting Room you can dig for a level 1 or higher card, which allows access to the strong events we play. If Your Dreams Shine Tae is another nice addition from this set, being a refresh counter to get out the bad deck states, since the deck speed isn't very reliable. Feeling the pulse of the future Saya, who is a 4 or more characters early play that gives a stock heal on play and can send characters universes to memory. And finally, a different class from Rimi, helping as the deck's finisher. You can burn 4 but will also spend all your stock doing so, but to compensate she can deal 1 damage if her damage is cancelled, so she's strong for pushing damage. Other noteworthy cards include Tansaku Arisa to help give Tai combo the power for reverses, Secret Spot Arisa to find your climaxes, as Poppin' Party still doesn't have a climax swapper in English, Special Memories Tai as another source of damage to push for game, and Toilet and Buns as very strong events that we can easily access with our effects. Overall, Poppin' Party got some very good consistency boosters with really strong profiles. Sadly, they still lack the tools for a level 2 combo like Kasumi to feel comfortable to use, and still don't have a lot of generic effects that other bands have. But despite the low power compared to other decks, the advantage generation can help it keep up. Roselia feels like one of the most complete bands, and this new set helped fix some of the weaker aspects the deck had. This is an 8 bands list that uses the new level 1 combo to walk the Thorny Path side. He becomes 6,500 power on your turn, and on attack can discard 1 to look at the top 3 of your deck and add a character 2 times. This gives her the ability to dig through the deck very fast while filtering your hand, making her perfect for the 8 bands triggers. Although it has the downside of filling the Waiting Room more than most combos, so your refresh can be affected if you aren't careful. For the combo finisher, we have Path of the Blue Rose Yukina from the previous anniversary set. It is still great as it heals on play and allows you to choose between dealing 2 or 4 damage depending on the situation, making her very flexible. The new cards that help the deck include Cladding Rinko, being a level 1 or higher assist and a generic salvage Brainstormer. Roselia used to struggle with their Brainstorm options as they usually were uncomfortable to use, but this Rinko gives them a more straightforward option that the deck really appreciates. There's also For the Sun-Kissed Blossom by Me Yukina, which reaches 3000 power on the turn it's played, and when sent to Waiting Room you can look at the top 4 and add a character, making it a great early game card. On the other hand, Flying to a New World Ako is more of a tech card. He allows you to discard a card and then level down one of the opponent's characters, so having one of her can come in handy. And finally, Weaving Flowers by Your Side Lisa is a new early play that reaches 10,500 power It allows you to choose between healing and looking at top 3 to add a card among them. This makes her super useful as a big body that gives advantage even when a heal isn't needed. Unfortunately, she does get overshadowed by Tears Overflowing Yukina, being one of the most consistent early plays that only Roselia can play. This deck plays a very standard game with a lot of hand filtering for your triggers, and using strong profiles like Riki, a bouncer for your own characters, a stock swap, and an engine that allows your Pants triggers to pick up events instead of only climaxes. Overall, an extremely solid, consistent, and easy deck to play that can answer almost anything. While other bands have went through many changes in their focus, Afterglow knew what it was from the start, deck based around alarms, and it has suffered quite a bit because of it. Currently, it is in a better spot, thanks to all the support they got over the years though. This 8-bar deck will be using the new level 1 combo of With Gratitude in My Heart Rand, which is very unique as she gives power and a on-reverse search to one of your characters, even from the backstage, so she will give you advantage through the whole game. On the other hand, the finisher is the good old classic Accepting Feelings Mocha. He heals at the end course step and allows you to look at the top of your opponent's deck to secure damage or mill their climaxes. As for the rest of the new cards, we have In Search of the Sunset Tomoe, which is one of the best early game cards introduced this set. She sits at 3000 power, and on reverse you can salvage a character. But what makes her dangerous is that when the damage you take is not cancelled, she gains an extra 1,500 power, making it so the opponent has to risk giving you more reverses and salvages. Crimson Skies Beyond the Clouds Himari is a reprint of the Mocha from the previous anniversary set. Still a great undead searcher that also helps through the game by having a clock kick alarm. No Matter the Sunset's Color Mocha finally gave Afterglow an anti-early play backup, and very cheap one at that, which also sends them to clock, so it can become a staple in BanG Dream decks that can afford it. And finally, Encouraging Sunset Tsugumi is a climax swapper that can send one of the cards in your hand to your stock. This is another super generic and common profile that Afterglow lacked. Well, it had an alarm climax swapper, but that felt more like an insult than a support. Overall, this new wave doesn't do much for the alarm aspect of the deck, but it does give Afterglow some really nice tools that it used to lack without needing any alarm gimmicks. As for the rest of the deck, it has some of the better alarms like Rand Bomb giving Twin Drive, Mocha's 2000 power, Himari's free stock, a very cheap bounce, and even a full-on Riki, alongside cards that need these alarms for extra effects, and the Searching Together event that can set up any alarm you want while also salvaging the characters you need. It's another simple but effective deck that needs some extra planning to make full use of your clocks and alarms, but can be very rewarding when doing so. Going from a simpler deck to a less conventional one, Pastel Palette's whole identity is based on the palette part. They gain effects from having all 4 colors on the field, which for the longest time was a pain to try to balance and achieve, so they gave up and just gave them standby. Since Pastel Palette got this trigger, it has been one of the better themed decks, and this set gave them some extra new tools to play with. The deck is of course 8 standby, but with a 3-way split in the climaxes. For the first and the newest climax combo, there's a Story We Paint Together Aya. When her standby is played, you can give the effect to someone to on attack look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a character, you can add it, and when a climax is played, you can bounce herself to give 1000 power to 2 characters. Aya helps the deck a lot by opening spaces for the standby targets while also keeping the hand healthy, which is one of the main weaknesses of Pastel Palettes. The second climax combo is Eve, who sits at 9,500 power, and when her standby is played, you can stand one of your other characters, and she can rest herself if no one else in your front row is rested, making her an enabler for your standby plays. And finally, Morning Glow Aya is a finisher combo, but we don't care much about the climax combo itself, which is why we only play one of her climax. But the important is that she can deal 1 damage every time she attacks, if you reveal a character from the top of your deck, which can really pile up with how easy it is to bring her out with Eve. Some of the other new cards include Because We Want to Protect Chisato, a deck climax swapper useful for our climax distribution, and since this deck doesn't mill very much, The Edge of a Precipice, Ina, being an extra level 1 standby target with Encore and Twin Drive, Spin Around Eve, which is an anti-early play backup that sends the opponent to the bottom of the deck. While that is good, the price is a little expensive, but still worth it for defending your big boards. And finally, Like You Maya, which can draw 2, discard 2 and stock the top card of your deck on play. Most importantly, it's an unattack stock swap, a very expensive one, but since you can stand by her out, you can focus on saving your stock for her effect. The new level 0 combo is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but the core has always been solid enough to take advantage of all this new support. Now the colors are easier to get than ever thanks to the great board presence of this deck that you can easily defend with the backups like even Chisato and the power pumpers like the level 3 Hina and level 3 Chisato. As always, standby decks can be more explosive and harder to pilot, and this one is no exception. Finishing the original 4 bands, Hello Happy World is among the more popular theme decks as they get unique profiles and abuse one of the best triggers in the game. One of their downsides was the lack of a good level 3 finisher, which this new set finally fixed. This is a 12 choice list, which uses the Cannon Brainstorm from the previous anniversary set to gain more choice triggers, and Cannon level 1 to have constant board presence, while being unable to be reversed. For the new finisher, we have International Friend Kokoro, who heals, and when her damage is cancelled, you can uncompress the opponent and burn them, making her a very powerful finisher option. For the rest of the new cards, we have Days Spent Spreading Smiles Misaki, who is a drop searcher and can give 2000 power to your characters. This makes her very flexible, and one of our better level 0s. Limitless Happiness Hagumi is a climax swapper with a soul trigger that can rearrange your top 2. This helps a lot for your choices. The Curtain of Nature Kaoru, who gives a soul trigger to all of your choice climaxes, making the total soul count in the deck 24, and will give 1,500 power to a character when you trigger a soul. This can make your characters reach really high numbers with a bit of luck. And finally, Reasons and Objectives Canon, being the least useful of the new additions, but still worth playing for being a 4 or more character early play that reaches 13,500 power, disables backups, and on reverse salvages a character. The old Kaoru early play is still the go-to, but this can be useful when high power is needed. The deck can be very high roll dependent with all the reliance on top checks, cancels and triggers, but once the deck gains momentum, it can really snowball with the advantage, thanks to cards like Kaoru level 0 digging for characters and speeding through the deck, level 2 Cannon's high power and climax searching abilities, and the constant healing of the previously mentioned Kaoru early play. Needless to say, it's a really fun deck and one of my personal favorites. Now from one of my favorites to one of my least favorites. Race Azulen feels like one of the more forgotten bands in terms of support. They get good cards for sure, but a lot of the time they tend to feel like an afterthought and don't synergize all that well. Regardless, this 8 bands deck aims to use some of the better cards they have access to. For starters, the new Climax combo is the Warmth of Affection and Love Chutu, who on attack mills 2, and you can salvage based on the levels milled, and if you pick the level 3 or higher, you get to bounce a character. It's not the greatest level 1 combo, but it does help with a little bit of milling that the deck lacks, and accessing the waiting room plus bouncing is always handy. For the level 3 we have the old Chutu finisher from the anniversary set. It has on-play healing, and the ability to give your other characters the effect of on attack mill the bottom 2 of the opponent's deck, and burning 2 if there's a climax among those cards. Sadly, the biggest downside is that you have to pay her cost on climax play, making her very expensive to set up, but this combo got some support this set. As for the other cards, we have Even to Hell Masking, giving power, and you can rest her to give one of your characters the effect to Clock Kick, very useful for hard removing threats. Immersion Layer reaches 6000 power and has an Accelerate that searches your deck for a character on play. A very good beater for level 1 that can get your combo when needed. How I Want to Be Locked is more of a tech card that can be early played when your opponent has a level 3. He looks at the top 3 and adds a card among them and gets to 11,000 power. While it's not great for utility, it can be an easy big body to get out with how common early plays are nowadays. And finally, You Slipping Away From Us Pario simply has the effect to restun herself after she attacks. This is very synergetic with Chutu finisher, that he will be able to trigger the bottom mill effect 2 times. To accomplish this, we have cards like Level 0 Log and Change the World to gain more stock, while also having the old meta threat of Rouse and Craziness Chutu and Astonishing Speed Pario, as a sort of plan B that are hard to get rid of to stall the game. While the deck can do well with high power characters and a finisher with a high ceiling if it hits the right mills, it is unfortunately quite inconsistent and really struggles to keep up with the other decks that have better ways of amassing resources, and the support didn't really address that issue. Maybe next time, Raz. The sudden change of Morphonica into a board-based deck was unexpected, but hey, it worked out really well for them. And this wave of support they got some new useful tools for that. This time we have a choice pants deck featuring the new level 1 combo of Gathering Petals Toggle. She gains 500 power for each of your other characters, and the climax combo makes you search for 2 characters, and your opponent chooses one to put in the waiting room while you add the other. It's a pretty unique effect and can help with waiting room setup while still getting you the combo pieces you need for level 2. It's definitely debatable between Nanami and Mashiro combos, but it's still a nice option to have. And for the level 3 is the heart of the deck in as a big sister Tsukushi. She sits at 10,000 power with Encore and can be brought out in level 2 with her related event. But most importantly, her combo allows you to choose a character in your waiting room and add it to hand to burn 1, or place it on the stage and give it power. This allows you to create strong level 3 boards from very early that your opponent will have a hard time dealing with. Other new cards include Shibuya Adventure Tsukushi. This card's a climax to salvage a character, and on climax play you can return her to give someone 1000 power. The filtering climaxes is really good since we still use pants triggers, and the self-bounce can give the space for the level 3 Tsukushi to place characters on the stage. Special toppings Mashiro, which is straight up a Riki, allowing for searches without losing advantage, and will probably become a staple in multiple decks. Because We're Friends Nanami is a level 3 assist that gives us soul and rearranges the top of your deck when triggering a climax. Needless to say, this is super useful after setting up your board with Tsukushi, as you want to defend him with as much power as possible. And speaking of defending, the answer I found Rui is an anti-early play backup, which really helps getting rid of threats that can answer your board. Thanks to this support and the good selection of level 3s that Morphonica has, it can accomplish its game plan. And while the boards aren't the highest in terms of numbers, they are very cheap to assemble, making this a resilient deck that wants to extend the game with healers like Rui and damage scrying like Mashiro, while defending with backups and other effects like level 2 Tsukushi. Since the last two bans are pretty recent, they don't have as much variety to offer, but regardless they have shown to be some of the stronger options for BanG Dream right now, Maigo being no exception. This time we have a Door Pants deck using quite a few resonates. To begin with, the first climax combo is the new Calm Mediator Doyu, being a level 2 combo that reaches 10,000 power, and on attack looks at the top 4 and adds a character among them and then performs a twin drive. Similarly to Kasumi, she gives you a card and an extra stock, but with the added benefit of speeding through the deck, although you don't have as much control about the cards added. And for the finisher, it's the still relevant Lost Girls fan Tomori, and her Surge 2 climax combo and her ability to discard 2 and resonate to heal 2 or burn based on climaxes you mill from your deck. Extremely good card that can adapt to situations and is very cheap to use. Plus she is the resonate target for all of our effects. For the other new additions we have the usual Please Anon, who is a repeatable search brainstorm, who can then sack herself and discard a card to salvage a character. Very synergetic with the early plays in the deck. Card of Fate Tomori, who is a great utility level 0 that salvages based on the level of the card you reveal on the top of your deck, and has the shift ability making her a good clock target that can be added back if needed. The Parking Lot's Cat Rana is one of our vantage cards for level 1, as she reaches 6,500 power, and on attack can stock a level 1 or higher card from the top of your deck. And finally, Thanks for Waiting Taki is a 4 or more character early play that can top check and send a level 3 or lower character from your opponent's center stage to the bottom of their deck. Immediate hard removal is hard to find, so she is a strong tech option. The plan for the deck is to use cards like level 1 Soyo's Resonate and the new Rana to keep up during the early game, as we are relying on a level 2 combo. This alongside cards like the Resonate Tomori can give you pieces that you need for your Soyo turn. Other cards like level 3 Anon can help you in your Tomori finisher turn, and overall the deck can adapt pretty well with decent power numbers and utility options, so the support from the anniversary set really gave them some nice tools that they can take advantage of. And finally, Ave Mujica. Probably one of the most well-known decks, as it is the band you see the most in the meta version of BanG Dream, so be ready to see some very familiar cards. This is an 8-door deck, so let's begin with the level 1 combo of Beautiful Dolls Timoris. On attack she gains up to 2000 power with a full board, and her combo gives her the ability to bounce herself to hand when frontal attack and to pay 1 for a twin drive. This easy card advantage and can be looped, but sadly she is competing with Masquerade Oblivionis, one of the best level 1 combos in the game at the moment, and her only real advantage is having a better climax trigger than Oblivionis. For the finisher we have Masquerade Dolores, one of the stronger finishers for BanG Dream. He heals on play and can pay 1 and discard 1 to gain the effect that when her damage is cancelled, you deal the same damage again and give a copy of this effect to another character. With a bit of luck, this combo can output ridiculous amounts of damage, and cards like Veritas Oblivionis can help boost our damage ceiling even higher. Other new cards include Beautiful Dolls, Mortis, a drop salvage that stocks herself when the opponent uses the climax, very good utility card for easy waiting room access, Beautiful Dolls Dolores, who reaches 3,500 power and is a chaser, so turn 1 she can be a real threat for the opponent. Beautiful Dolls Oblivionis gains 1,500 power for each of your other characters, and when she reverses an opponent you can send it to memory, giving you a big attacker that card removes for very cheap. And finally, Beautiful Dolls Amoris, who is a 2 or less climax early play, and when it reverses the opponent you can salvage 2 characters. Sadly one of the least useful ones, since Avemojic already has one of the best early plays in all of BanG. These cards give more utility and power to an already strong deck. The Masquerade cards like Amoris and Timoris already give the deck high utility on level 0, and like I said, Mortis is one of the best early plays. And the deck even makes up for its low power with poor Doll Amoris giving 2000 power to everyone. While the deck would probably be stronger with the inclusion of Oblivionis combo, it's still a very strong strategy that simply uses cards with better value than the opponent to out-resource them, and then close out the game with an explosive finisher. Wait, Mugendai Mutai? I can't build a deck with 5 cards. At least wait for the anime to finish airing. Well, I guess a full set for them got announced in JP, and knowing how privileged BanG is in Weiss, we probably will get in them too, so we'll see you again eventually. And that's it. Again, these are by no means optimized. Like I said, there is a huge card pool for BanG, and there are tons of ways to experiment. You can take these as bases for you to change as you see fit, and I will also keep experimenting with them. Sorry for the lack of uploads, health and personal issues have really taken a toll on me, but I'll still do my best to try to deliver more videos as soon as possible. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.